I'm in the reloading room and I have 76 pieces of brass that are prepped. They're not primed. I need to charge them and seat the bullets. And in order to charge them, I'm going to use the new piece of equipment in the reloading room, the AutoTrickler V4 from Adam McDonald. This is a pretty pricey piece of equipment for me. I'm just a regular guy, and what I do is do my research on what equipment that I need and what's the next purchase that I need to make, and then save up each month or save up for it until I have enough money and I buy it. In this case, I ordered this 6 months ago. There's quite a bit of lead time on these, and I knew there was, so I started saving up. I ordered it, and I started putting up aside a little bit of money each month until Adam sent me the email saying it's ready to ship, need to pay for it. So by then I saved up the money and then shipped it. I just received it today. So what I thought I'd do was unpackage it. I made a video of it, unpackaging it, getting it all set up and running, and then running the first few loads with it. As always, with all my videos, these videos are just for entertainment purposes only, and also I like to make these videos so future me can look back on them and see current me what I was doing at the time. I just think it would be pretty neat 5 years from now to look back at this video, and I would have, who knows what I'll be doing at that time for reloading, but it would be, it's just interesting to me to want to look back. I wish I could look back 5 years in the past right now at what I was doing 5 years ago. With that, we'll jump on into the video. Well, I'm going to be setting up the AutoTrickler V4, but before I do, I need to clean up my reloading table here, or desk I guess, and then decide on where I'm going to put it. So I think I'm just going to move the scale over here, and then I don't need this anymore for, I will use this to reload plinking ammo, so I'll keep it, but I just don't need it up on the desk anymore. So I'm going to straighten everything out, and then we'll get the AutoTrickler unpacked. So I've got the thrower out of the way, or my Lee powder thrower out of the way, and some of the other stuff that I had on the desk. I just wanted to take apart the AutoTrickler. So the first thing I'm going to do, so my old version 3, I don't have the thrower, I just have the trickler. What I'm going to do is take this apart. So first thing I need to do is unplug the power. We'll let it sit just a little bit, just to make sure that there's no power left. And then what I'm going to do, it's pretty simple how this is installed, and very simple how it comes apart. You just pull got 4 prongs in this plug, and let me see here. So you got to be very careful with this. You don't want to bend any of those prongs or the plug. So that's the trickler part. That's all there is to it. We'll get this, put it out of the way, and then what I need to do is unplug the. Oh, I'm sorry. There's a little chip in here. I'm going to have to get this will just, this is in the serial port. I think that's a serial port. Parallel, yeah, serial port. So I'll just pull that out. Let me move the camera a little bit better. Position. Just pull this plug out of the serial port, and then I've got 2 screws here to remove. I don't seem to have a Phillips head screwdriver. So let me run into the other room, get a Phillips head screwdriver, and pull that out. second screw is out, 2 screws. Then what I can do is, it's just the chip. So this is the brains for the AutoTrickler, and I will put this aside with the trickler. So 2 pieces, I'll keep them together along with the user's manual and the other parts that came with the V3. Along with the other parts of the V3 is the little metal plate that came off of here. I'll install that a little bit later with these 2 screws, and then I'll have that hole covered up because I don't believe with the V4 that you need that hole. Alrighty, let me get the V4. Actually, I can take this lid off, and I think I'm going to have to remove this piece and move it forward. I think it's the same as the one in the V4, but we'll see. Also now, as in most of my other videos, if I have anything apart, or I sometimes take things apart, I'm going to clean it up really good. That way it'll stay clean and it'll last me a long time. Alright, so when I get this taken care of, I'll get it situated over there, and then I'll get the V4 trickler out. Here's the box all the way from Canada. This is just came in the mail today, so kind of excited about getting it set up. Actually going to be loading some ammo tonight using this for a match that I have this weekend. So here is inside the box. There's another box. There is a second box. And a third box. V4 Mat User's Guide. Let me go ahead and get everything here unboxed, and we'll proceed. Got everything positioned about where I want it, and I've got everything unpacked here. First step is to put these 4 little rubber bumpers on the 4 corners of the windscreen. So I will go ahead and do that. I will do that, and then go on to the next step. Now I've got the I've got 3 of the windscreens installed. I've got the rubber bumpers installed, and I want to note that there's this plastic. If you have an A&D scale, you know that there's this little plastic cover. I'm going to leave that on. I don't think it's recommended, but I'm going to leave it on. If I need to take it off later, if I have problems with the operation of the scale, I will take it off later. It seems simple enough. I'm going to put this on. The plexiglass top, it snaps right into place, fits right in perfectly into the grooves, very good fit. And then the next thing is to put the funnel on the AutoTrickler assembly. You just kind of put it on there and twist it. And I'm going to have to cut this. I need to remove this plastic piece. Let me cut that off, and then we'll install the, or we'll go to the next step. All right, so I've removed the little zip tie. It was through the this tunnel here, or the large powder dispenser. Just simply clipped it off with some wire cutters. Now I need to install this on the top. I've got my, oh, incidentally, I didn't mention before, I'm using a little bit larger power cup than the one that, the glass cup that Adam provides. I like this little aftermarket one. It's a little bit larger, so I just eyeballed this a little boomerang piece it's the guide for the cup. So it looks like it's in about the right position just based on eyeball looking at it, but if I have to move it later, I can just simply move it. So for this, the funnel of the housing goes in the middle of the hole in the top of the plexiglass, and then you center up these two, and then I'm going to center up the two, the right and left side, and then in the back there is another little bumper and a cutout in the housing itself that it rides in. So all of that is in place, and if I look from the side, it appears just from the naked eye that it's sloped from high in the front to low in the back very slightly. Next thing I need to do is turn the scale. So here is my old A&D. I actually ran the AutoTrickler 3 with this power plug from the A&D scale. There was another plug provided with the version 3, but I just used this one and it worked. The other plug was supposed to be a little bit more, provide more power to the unit, but this one works, so I never did change it. I will put this back in the A&D box, and I've already plugged in the one that was provided with the AutoTrickler 4. So for the electronics, need to get around the back, and this will go into the cable. So this is a serial port. The male connector will go in, just push it in just like any other, and then the there's an Allen wrench provided, and then I'll tighten that in, and then we'll get this hooked up. Okay, so I've got this just snugged up. I did not over tighten the 2 screws, but that is just enough to hold it in place in the serial port. And then I'll connect these two. These connector it'll only go on one way, and it just snaps into place. Now I've got that installed. I've got the power plug that was provided. I'm going to go ahead and plug that in. And then I will put everything is coming on, running through the test. I'll put it back in its spot, make sure it's level, and get it right back in the same place it was, where I had it level before, would be good. So there we go. Next thing to do would be install the powder hopper. The powder hopper has an open and close, very similar to other powder hoppers. So just simply turn it to close it or open it. It needs to be closed to be installed, I believe. So it is closed now. and then I'll install it. It just fits over the into the receptacle. Here's the lid goes on, and then these two pieces go, so there's another plexiglass pieces. The square side of the pieces fit down. One goes in the front. And let's see. Yep, there we go. Pretty tight fit. I don't know if they're the same. I believe that they're both the same. I don't know if the front is unique from the back. That doesn't appear to be. So I'm going to have the Canadian sticker or Adams logo. So I don't think it'll go on with the powder hopper on. So I'm going to take the powder hopper off, set it down, and have the AutoTrickler logo facing away from and the square side down. And that is a tight fit. And then I will put the powder hopper back on. And I think the next thing would be to power up the scale. And the next thing is going to be to power up the scale, put some powder in the hopper. Get that on the camera a little bit better. Got the lid back on the hopper. Power up the scale, get some powder in the hopper, and start dispensing some powder. Got the hopper about 2/3 full. That should be enough, more than enough. I've got to load 76 rounds. And incidentally, during the shortage, I had to buy powder in 1 pound containers. Obviously, it's better to buy the 8-pound jugs. What I did was, if I could get it during the shortage, during 20 and 21 and into 22, it was very difficult, especially Varget, and I like to use Varget. I would try to catch it in stock, and every now and then I would, and you could buy 5 at a time, so I'd always buy 5 pounds when I could. But when that happens, you get 5 pounds of, and sometimes it's 2 pounds of one lot and 3 pounds of another. But you end up with a bunch of mixed up, so I did this maybe 2 or 3 times. I probably have 15, actually more than that, I probably have 15 or 20 of these jugs. And so what I do is just take 8 or 10 of them and put them in an old 8-pound jug, mix them up real good, and so at least for that jug I have, and then what I do is just pour them out of that 8-pound jug into these 1 pound one at a time as I need them. So I keep everything up in that 8-pound jug mixed up really well. A lot of people do that, but I just wanted to mention that's how I do it now. Now I can probably just buy 8-pound jugs of Varget. Alrighty, so now I've got and I've noticed it has, I mean not noticed, but I need to open up the, I still have it closed, so I turn it open, and it's flowing into the back, it's filling up this back reservoir full of powder. And I've got this back here, just a little plastic container that when I empty it, I just have to take off this plastic from the back, and all the powder will just simply fall out of the reservoir. I've noticed too that the back reservoir is closed off on the top. This one is open. So if I need to resort to putting 1 or 2 kernels into, looks like it'll drop right on through the funnel into the cup, so I'll be able to do that. All right, so let me power up the scale. I don't want to do it with the cup on. So I have, let me reset it, let me turn it off. And so I have the V3 settings already in it. I don't know, in the manual it talks about getting all the settings for the scale, but I think it would, the scale, I bought this from A&D. No, I bought it from another supplier out of out of in Canada, and it came pre-programmed with all of the steps for the V3. I did not buy the V3 with the scale. I bought the scale separately, but it was already programmed, so I think it should already be programmed for here. But if not, there's instructions in the manual to do so. Alrighty, so let me straighten up a little bit. I need to get some of this stuff picked up, and then I'll run it for the first time. Everything is set up, powder in the hopper, we're ready to go. I've got my tray here, and I've already got it connected to the, let me disconnect, and so I got the app already open, but let me disconnect and then reconnect. So I've got the scale zeroed, I got my cup in place, disconnected, so all I'm going to do is just tap the red button at the top, AutoTrickler found connect, and then once it's connected, according to the instructions, I'm to hit the calibrate button, and it will start dispensing powder. This calibration, according to the manual, is supposed to take about a minute. So, well, that was pretty quick. This central tube, I wasn't really expecting this, but it is pretty good, maybe an inch and a half in diameter. It's a pretty big tube compared to the little tubes that I'm used to on the little powder tricklers or even the other AutoTricklers. Now the little tube is about the same as what you would see on an RCBS trickler, or which is the same as on the version 3, the V3 AutoTrickler. So as it calibrates, once it's done calibrating, according to the manual, I'm supposed to hit settings and then look at the small tube calibrated flow rate. And if that's 0.2 grains per second, we're looking good. If not, I'm to adjust these wheels. I guess it needs to be tilted in a certain manner. Okay, so there we go. It's finished calibrating, settings, and the small tube is at 16 grains per second. So that's supposed to be close to 20 for most powders. So I think I'm going to have to tilt the scale maybe more forward. Let me do that off camera. Let me play with it and see if we can get it calibrated closer to 20, the small tube at 20 grains per second. Okay, so I moved around the housing on the top of the piece of plexiglass, or on the scale top, this little plexiglass, and I just pushed it back a little bit and noticed that it was kind of off center. So now I've got it perfectly centered. I did calibrate it, and I got a value of, for the small, in these settings, got a value of 0.19 grains per second, and it should be 0.20. So we're looking pretty good. And also I ran it a few times at my target weight for the loads that I'm going to be loading for my match this weekend. And I noticed that after about 3 calibration attempts and a couple of loads, there are some granules of powder that are getting outside of my cup. So I have a feeling I'm not going to be able to use my aftermarket Area 419 cup because it's a little bit shorter. If you can see from the table, the glass cup sits up a little bit higher than the Area 419 cup, and I need that little bit of extra height to get closer to the funnel so it doesn't throw powder over the side. I don't mind using the glass. I just like this one better because it's got a larger base. It's just easier to sit. This one seems kind of tippy, but I mean, it's fine. It'll work fine. So I readjusted the little boomerang in here, and I'm ready to go. So let me throw a few. My target weight is 43.5. I'm not actually loading now. I'm just goofing around with different weights. So right now I've got it set to 43.5. There we go, 43.48. Little green light comes on. If I wanted to, or if I had some extra granules, I could drop another. I think I'm going to, I usually load, if I'm going to load at 43.5, I'll accept 43.5, 43.52. I don't know why, probably fine with 48, plus or minus 2. That's the accuracy of the scale, and the AutoTrickler is plus or minus 0.2. So let's throw another, so all you have to do is dump that one out in your case, and then it'll automatically, once the cup gets put back, once the cup gets put back on there and the scale zeroes out, it automatically starts throwing the next charge. Incidentally, not incidentally, but I also have the speed set to setting 6. The speeds are from 1 to 10. I've got it on 6. The factory default was 5. So there we go, 43.5. It's jumping between 4.8 and 5. And I think what I would do if I had the powder, I just need to put a little bit on an index card like I used to. Just drop another kernel in there. Let's try it one more time. I really don't think it makes that much of a difference, but just would make me feel a little bit better if I had 43.5 or 43.52. But it runs a lot faster, plus I'm hands-free. Before I was throwing the powder with my Lee powder thrower and then putting it on here and throwing it light, let it trickle up for about a grain on the V3. This is a lot easier. You just take the cup, stick it in there, and wait for it to be done. The little green light comes on, so you know it's done. And then you would dump it in your case, put a bullet on your case, go to the next one. There we go, another 43.5, just then jumping between 48 and 0.5, so can't complain about that. So I'm gonna, actually I can't load these yet, I've yet to prime them. I need to prime 76 cases, throw 76, I'm not sure what my weight's going to be, but throw 76 powder charges, seat the bullets, and I'll be ready for my match on Saturday.